students, today we are going to consider the mean free path. Mean free path is the average distance covered by a moving particle between two successive collisions. Particles are nothing but the atoms, molecules, or photons or gas molecules. It is the average distance between collisions for a gas molecule, and it is obtained or estimated from the kinetic theory of gases. What is this kinetic theory of gases? There are few assumptions of kinetic theory of gases. First one, a gas consists of collection of small particles traveling in straight line motion. Second assumption is the molecules in gas occupies no volume. That is, they are working as the point masses or point particles. Thirdly, collision between molecules are perfectly elastic. This means they neither gain energy nor lost energy during the collision. And last assumption or fourth important assumption is that the path covered by molecules between any two successive collisions is straight line, and it is called as the free path. And also these are having the energy which is equal to 3 by 2 kT. Now we can show that the path of the molecules is zigzag path. So direction of molecule is changed after every collision, and after number of collisions the path of molecules therefore becomes zigzag like this as shown in the diagram. Now let us obtain the expression for mean free path. What is mean by mean free path? It is the mean distance traveled by molecule between two successive collisions. If total distance traveled after n collisions is s, then mean free path of the molecule or gas is denoted by lambda and will be given by s divided by n. Okay, this is the average distance traveled by molecule between two successive collisions. Let us consider molecule as a sphere of diameter d. Collision between two molecules is possible if distance between center of two molecules is d or less than d, like this as shown in this diagram. Or here you may observe when molecule is traveling, if the another molecules are in the path and they are having the distance between two molecules less than or less than d, then only they can collide. If this molecule is outer, then this molecule will not collide with this molecule. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to consider a cylindrical area covered by the molecule, or we have to consider the cylindrical area which is having the diameter equal to 2d. In this cylindrical area, whatever may be the molecules, they will definitely collide with this considered molecule. Now collision will also happen if we consider the colliding molecule has the diameter 2d and all other molecules are simply geometrical points. They are not moving. It is considered that the considered molecule is having the diameter equal to 2d and all other molecules are at rest condition and they are not having any diameter or they are point masses. Now this molecule of diameter 2d will cover a volume in 1 second. This corresponds to the volume of cylinder of diameter 2d and length v. Just you may see here the volume covered by this a molecule which is having diameter 2d, and in time t if you consider, that volume will be equal to pi d square into Vt. Vt is the distance traveled by molecule in time t. Therefore, you may say the volume covered by this molecule in time t is pi d square V into t. And if you consider the volume covered in 1 second, then that will be equal to pi d square into V. Okay. And therefore, if number of molecules per cc in this volume is n, then number of molecules in this much volume that we have considered pi d square V, that will be equal to pi d square V into n. This will also represent the number of collisions per second because this single molecule of diameter d is moving in this volume, and it will of course collide with all the molecules within this volume. So this number pi d square Vn will also represent the number of collisions per second. And what is the distance traveled by molecule in 1 second? That is equal to velocity of the molecule v. So distance traveled is v, and number of collisions in this distance while traveling this distance v is pi d square V into n. So we can obtain the relation for mean free path. Lambda is equal to V divided by pi d square Vn. Now this V and this V is velocity of the molecule gets cancelled with each other, and we get the relation for mean free path. Lambda is equal to 1 upon pi n d square. This equation is initially firstly derived by Clausius, and so it is named as the Clausius equation for mean free path. Thus, mean free path we may observe from this relation. Mean free path is inversely proportional to square of diameter of the molecule. Again, if we consider m be the mass of each molecule, then density of the gas is given by m into n. M into the molecular density, and therefore this is the mass density m into n, or we may say n is equal to rho by m. If we put this value of n into above relation Clausius equation, then what we will get? We get the mean free path lambda is equal to m upon pi rho d square. Thus, mean free path is inversely proportional to density of gas. Now, while deriving the relation, what we have considered, our single molecule is moving and all other molecules are at rest condition. Actually, in practice, this does not happen. They have certain average velocity, and the true average velocity is given by under root 2 into v. Okay, and therefore we have to revise the expression for the effective volume swept out in time t, that is given by pi d square v into t. Instead of pi d square vt, pi d square under root 2 v into t, because we are modifying the velocity v to under root v. And therefore the relation for mean free path also gets modified. Lambda is equal to 1 upon under root 2 pi d square n. This is named as the Maxwell's corrected relation for mean free path. Lambda is equal to 1 upon under root 2 pi d square n. This is the Maxwell's corrected relation for mean free path. You may observe this mean free path video on this URL. Thank you.